AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
If you have felt left out of wellness culture, I want you to know it's not because you failed, and it's really because of nothing you've done, but it's because it was never built for you in the first place. No matter what we look like, how our experience is, what we're dealing with, we are all worthy of care. Healing is not a branding opportunity, and it is a birthright. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to Dear Body, I'm Listening, the podcast for women navigating chronic symptoms, invisible illness, and that daily dance between hope and exhaustion. If you've ever been told it's all in your head, well, this podcast is for you because your body is not lying and neither are you. Hi, I'm Donna Piper, movement therapist, Pilates instructor, and chronic illness navigator. After years of being dismissed, misdiagnosed, and doing everything quote unquote right, but still getting sicker, I created this space to tell our truth. Here we talk about swelling, brain fog, nervous system crashes, and the kind of symptoms that don't always show up on lab results. We're going to explore lymph, breath, movement, self-trust, latest research, books, relationships, basically everything. All from a place of compassion and honesty. This isn't about fixing your body. It's about finally being heard and getting some answers. Hey loves, welcome back to Dear Body, I'm Listening. My name is Donna Piper, and today we're giving a side eye to the whole industry, the wellness industry. We're going to do it with love, but also with some receipts. And we're really talking about wellness culture here, the one that says, just do this thing for 15 minutes, add this superfood, just detox, and heck, most of the time we can't even get out of bed. Also, pushing that green juice and other supplements and things may not be the best for you because when you're navigating a complex diagnosis like lipedema, MCAS, hypermobility, the full spectrum of EDS to HSD, POTS, and chronic fatigue, this wellness culture says kind of like somehow if you're not doing these things and not glowing, why you're getting up super early to get a certain amount of light in your eyes and et cetera, then maybe you're not trying hard enough or you don't have the right routine or XYZ. And you know what? We're not doing that anymore because this wellness culture is not made for our bodies, our conditions, an invisible chronic condition. So in today's episode, it's all about unlearning the BS and to start to reclaim and understand real, sustainable healing for our bodies. There's no tumor shot required, so let's dive in. So in today's Real Talk recap, what am I going to get into? Well, let's just say wellness culture for me, and I think all of us, really needs a serious reality check. You know what I mean? The one that is really about buying like the $14 green juice or just do 10 minutes of XYZ or buy this new thing that's going to heal your conditions. I love influencers and I love people making money and I love every gadget there has ever made for healing. I kind of own most of them. But when you have a chronic condition that has multiple layers and when your body responds to building muscles, digesting food, digesting things from your liver, how your body deals with storage of fat and diseased fat, and how your brain works with your central nervous system, et cetera, et cetera. All of these things are highly complex. they're usually, if you have multiple, they're contradictory in what the solution is for you. There's no one map, one thing. Do this, you'll get better. Actually, doing those wellness culture things for me made me feel bad, but it didn't work. So then it made me also feel like, oh, another thing that doesn't work for me. I'm so bummed out. It's like it just added to the frustration and pressure I was putting on myself to figure out an answer. Even when I did get answers from my doctors, which that was a relief, but they didn't give me a straightforward plan. And definitely you're inundated with things. And, I've even with the knowledge that I have that this pill they have for lipedema or this machine, the diseased fat in my legs, it's like I've had to really think about like, okay, what is sustainable and what is not going to harm me? Right now, I don't even know how my veins are with my legs. I haven't had my appointment with a venous doctor to kind of see what's going on with my legs. And because I have hypermobility, I have more stretchy skin. So by doing some of these things that are supposed to help, I don't even know yet if it's going to help me or if it's going to harm me. So that's where I really want to have every one of us unlearn, even within our own communities. I mean, I'm all for people healing their lipedema, doing everything. I have done everything from extremely practical things to all the way to psychic healing. And I believe that there is a place for all of that. However, in my experience with doing all that, it hasn't led me down to a place where I feel very confident in what my body is doing. I also kind of feel like, oh no, well, is that the one thing that I'm missing? And anytime anyone says, I have healed XYZ, that should be not like our impetus to buy and follow and see what they say, but to kind of pull it back. Like, I have lots of talents, and some of them cross over with helping others heal their wounds, their bodies, all of these things. And I've had evidence of that. And I haven't been able to figure it out. And once I do, I'm never going to say that this thing healed me. It's too complex. There's too many things going on. We have like 5 balls at least going on, like a juggler. And I'm not good at juggling. And it's kind of like also like whack-a-mole. You get one thing down and then something else creeps up. So it's very deep healing we need to do. So superficial things aren't going to work for us. Also, if you need surgery or if you can't have surgery, or maybe you don't have any doctors or that knowledgeable, and navigating this is quite a pain in the tuchus, let me tell you. So our version of wellness isn't what the mainstream version of wellness is. And when we buy into that, we kind of get gaslit, like over and over being told, calories in, calories out forever, or try this diet, or maybe do intermittent fasting. And even within the community, there's tons of different diets and techniques that work for them, but it's not one way. So when you're really sick, and I know for me, I'm looking for that one thing to kind of hold on to help give me some motivation to continue to heal on this journey. And I was reading in a blog the other day, or a Facebook group, I don't know, but someone said like, it shouldn't be a journey. And there's some truth to that. Like, once you get diagnosed with any of these conditions, there ideally needs to be a more straightforward plan, but it really is a journey because your body's an experiment with this. So it's not until we feel comfortable showing our bodies and knowing, even if people are looking at us, and I know I feel my shopping cart shame and all of these things, or even when I'm teaching, there is in the back of my head, I want to scream. It's like, I'm not lazy. I eat really well. My body just has diseased fat. So like I have fat thighs and a big bottom and big calves. Now my arms are big and my weight is going up. And it's not because of my lack of interest in my own health and body. It's because my body responds differently. So I want everyone that hears this has the permission to really be released from this idea that if you just did this dry brushing technique, which don't, by the way, do more clearing first. If you just ate cleaner, if you just stretched more, if you meditated more, if you aligned with this sort of practice more or got this device and did that more, that you would finally have the answer that you're needing to feel better, and your body would start responding with going down in inflammation and less pain. Because the truth of it, like what people don't really know, these conditions mainly are painful and they stop you from moving in life, whether it's something like POTS where you have to lay down, same with EDS, chronic fatigue, where rest is the only thing really that's going to help realign your system. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less. And if you're self-conscious like me, maybe you're not, hopefully you're not, but being overweight, as I quote unquote, for my size because of the lipedema, and needing to rest a ton, I feel even much more so now that's changed. But especially in the beginning, like I can't rest because I have all this weight on me. What are people going to think of me? Like I'm not doing more to help my situation when in fact I had to get wrap around like, okay, this is my body right now. It is super inflamed. There's like red flags going all over. Every part of my system is under crisis. And I need to stop viewing myself with harsh eyes and through other people's expectations and doctors of saying that I'm fine, or maybe I just need to move more and eat less, all that BS, and really find out what I need to get these things underway. And it's very complex, very, very complex. The food that I can tolerate and eat and help me is sometimes touted for the best diet for lipedema, and that is absolutely the worst diet for me, the worst way that I could live. Also, doing things like water, like swimming, water stuff for lipedema is great. But when I tried it, I crashed for days. I couldn't understand it, not until I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue. And that doing that for my heart rate and everything was way too much of energy I needed to expel. So I want you to know that you're doing healing right for you. We are not doing healing wrong. We are not engaging in practices just because other people might have, done some energy work and, cured their condition. That doesn't mean that if you like energy work to stop doing it. It means that your path is going to look different. And sometimes your body looks different that way. So let's be honest with this. So much of wellness culture and just how people view things now, because we've been inundated with what it means to be healthy and fit and to eat the right foods and not have these medical conditions, is rooted in ableism, a fatphobia, and a polished aesthetic. And it has very little to do with true well-being. We're so inundated with information, even like this podcast. There's, I don't know, I forget how many, but hundreds of thousands of them. And the information sometimes that gets pushed because the aesthetic is nice, because like who doesn't want to do two different things and then look all happy and like feel good and have a nice aesthetic? We like beauty as human beings, but how we see beauty and how we see others really needs to change. And that really, I think, stems from us, because it's not about performative wellness. It's not about trying to do things to force our bodies into a way. It's actually really a new way of well-being. It's just honoring our systems need support, and sometimes that support is the exact opposite of what you're told. And it's really hard to kind of hold that space when you might have family, friends, people just around, jobs where that is not their experience. So when you have an invisible illness, people don't really understand. They look at you through the eyes of what they do understand. So they're not horrible for doing that. It's just we have to do a lot more education, and that can be really exhausting. And it feels kind of unfair. And if they only knew sort of things, and, other than screaming at people and be like, look at what I eat well, and I still am this weight and my body still looks like this because my legs are larger and my lower half of the body is larger. And yeah, aesthetically, it's not what the mainstream is. But if I had a shirt, which I keep on threatening to make shirts and I one day will, that is me needing to educate people because when they look at me, I don't always look like ragged out and tired. Like, I don't know what someone with chronic fatigue would look like, but I guess just saying chronic fatigue, you would look like, oh my God, I just am like, I don't know, tired all the time. I'm not sure. But same with hypermobility and POTS and mast cell, because mast cell isn't histamine intolerance. It's kind of like that, but it's way more involved. And these are all full of pain. People don't understand how much pain we're in and how it can affect your mobility. So let's turn a corner today and let's just disconnect from wellness culture. That doesn't mean that you opt out of society and you don't see things and you're not part of it. But once it comes up, find some boundaries within yourself to be like, no, that's not for me. My body is not like theirs. My body's different. It responds different. And I have a whole group of women. I don't know how many the numbers are for hypermobility, MCAS, chronic fatigue, and POTS, but I do know that around 11%, give or take, worldwide are women with lipedema. So we have a huge base of support. It's just now about embracing that and knowing that even if you don't have women around you that look like you do, you're definitely not alone. And one last thing, no matter what we look like, how our experience is, what we're dealing with, we are all worthy of care. Healing is not a branding opportunity, and it is a birthright. So with that, let's get lymphatic and let's break this down. So all of these things too that I'm talking about they're stemmed in lymphatics, right? Lymphatics is a newer system. It's not newer. We have it in our bodies forever, but as far as research and what people can tell us about us and the breakdown. So all of these things, your lymphatics need to work in order it does many things, but get some of the larger molecules and some of the stuff that needs to be cleaned out of your system. Well, in each one of these things I talk about, lipedema, MCAS, hypermobility, POTS, and chronic fatigue, there's a breakdown in our lymphatic system. And each one has a different sort of breakdown synopsis according to the research. But basically, it's not working like it should, and it needs lots and lots of support in order to get it to work. So finding different sort of manual techniques, if you find a good MLD or a CLT, someone that knows how to work with lymphedema and lipedema, but usually Vater, and there's a few other, those techniques. There's a Brazilian technique that's more popular online. I don't know about that, but I do know Vater and a few other techniques are more classical, and they're to help gently push out that lymph, give it the little kick in the bottom that it needs that's gentle. Also, compression therapy helps along the line. So whether you can get into your healthcare system and go along with a decompressive, total decongestive therapy. So what I would recommend is talk to your primary provider that does all your referrals and refer to a PT or an OT clinic, however your insurance is set up, to work with someone with lymphedema that is caused because of lipedema. That's typically how the wording is, but get a referral from your primary doctor to go to a PT or an OT that knows about lymphedema. And they will most likely always know about lipedema, those like PTs and OTs, and they will know about total decongestive therapy. Say that's what you would like, that's what you're interested in, and see if you're a candidate for, and they'll wrap one side or the other. After you're doing that, then they'll usually set you up with a compression hose that's specifically designed for you. So they'll take measurements and they'll get you into the right gauge that you need for your compression hose. and someone will come and measure you, and you get these flat knit garments that are tailor made. Also, it gets you in the process of potentially getting a pump at home that could or could not be covered by your insurance. So once you're kind of in that system, but you have to tell your PCP that you would like this decongestive therapy or actually just an OT for your lymphedema, AKA caused by lipedema. So those are some things you could start doing, and some gentle movement depending on what level and how many of these conditions you have. You always want to start with gentle movement. Think of 25% of your total thing you can do, and then see how much that drains you and pace yourself. But any sort of just standing and raising your heels, if you can't stand, just raise and lower your heels, get those calves and flow from the ground up flowing. Take some courses, watch some videos about how to clear your own termini around your neck and all the major sort of choking points for your lymphatic system that gets clogged up, that just needs a little bit more love. Definitely do some deep breathing, and that is just a few minutes, or learning how to do it. The longer, the better. You could do in segments, but just taking a few moments and trying to expand the belly and contract it, that also helps as a pump for your lymphatics that we have a ton in our stomach. Get some hydration and don't put any stuff in it. No A1G, no green stuff, no whatever. Just start with hydration and then look into your sodium levels. And there's usually sodium, potassium, magnesium combo. There's DYI and all these tons on the market. Find that works for you and that doesn't give you any sort of gastrointestinal distress. And that really helps with energy, and especially with fluid and blood flow. So there's many things out there that can help. And the wellness culture really just oversimplifies it. Just detox, or just do this, or take this parasite cleanse. But if you're in any of these situations, your detox system, the lymphatic system, is sluggish. And then our liver, which changes and helps with all that, usually is also overworked because we're usually in a chronic state of inflammation by the time we find out any of these things. So our system really, if we try to detox too soon or put too much through our liver or too many supplements, it's not going to work, and it's really going to make us feel worse. So remember, doing the thing that looks like it would help may not help. Do your research, take it slow. We need to support the system gently and not shock it into performance. Even though I know my tendency is like, I want to go for it. I'm feeling awful for decades. If there's a solution, I want it now, and I want it to work immediately. And that has come to bite me in the bottom quite a few times. So I'm here to say that I'm still not perfect with it, but when I say these words to you, I'm saying them 100% to myself. So let's get into that doing more. So let's do a little myth buster moment here. The first myth is you just need to move more. Well, the reality is, if you have chronic illness, especially chronic fatigue or POTS, pushing through can lead to something called post-exertional malaise, a full body crash. So by doing that, you're going to crash, and your crash could be a few hours to a few weeks or longer. So pushing is not the way. You want to do some movement. And remember, resting it's not laziness, it's not willpower, and it's really more about biology. Like, you need rest. Your systems aren't working. You're already in a state of overload. So pushing it more is going to overload you more. And an aside about MCAS and lymphedema, I think also EDS too. So a lot of times too much, going out in the heat, pushing, raising your heart rate, doing like a HIIT class, something like that, doing more will put you into a crash with those as well, because your body's inflamed, and then the heat swells, and then you're swelling, and then your body it's telling you what it needs. So if it's a crash, you need to rest. So instead of going through those waves of up and down, look at your movement as something that's going to help benefit you. So on days where you're really not feeling great, just try to pump the feet, bring the legs up the wall, circle your ankles, do a small little twist, deep breathe, get your torso moving. And then days when you can do a little bit more, make sure you have your compression on to support you during exercise. Make sure it's not too hot out. Put yourself in situations where you're only starting out with 25% or less of what you think you can do, so you can build up some tolerance so that the movement benefits you, because you do want to move to get lymphatic things. That helps the lymph, and your body wants to move. That creates more health, but you have to do it in a way that is not move more, feel better. That's not us. The whole other culture and what that works for some people definitely does not work for us. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and this is my true experience, so you can have a different truth out there, but this myth is dry brushing will clear your lymph. Truth, yeah, maybe it helps some way, but I know for me, before there was a lot more information about the lymphatic system and people really talking about how to clear the certain main portals and drains, I was dry brushing. And when I would dry brush, my legs would swell more. My stomach would swell more. I'd feel awful. It felt like everyone else, like, oh, I dry brushed and look at my body shrunk. Nope, not for me. It grew. So it affects the mast cells too, because remember, if you have MCAS or even EDS, these immune receptors are a little bit different, they just work a little harder and they're looking. So everything is not quite the same as a body that doesn't have any connective tissue disorders, any sort of lymphatic disorders, any disconnection from your hypothalamus and your central nervous system, where inflammation is chronic and your body's just been overwhelmed for a long time, or how your blood and the fluid. So if you're standing in line, there's a pressure change and how fast your body can accommodate that pressure change. All of these things, when you dry brush, it can activate actually your mast cells to go and be like, what's going on? And then when your lymph doesn't work, it actually is just making you feel more pain, and it just moves it into another place where it's congested. So figure out gua sha, dry brushing, all those things look cool and they're fun, but with your body, see what you need, see how you need to clear your drains and how gentle you need to be. So with all that being said, today we're going to shake off this old way of wellness culture, and I want to do a little feel-good flow called Shake It Off, literally. And that's what we're going to do, is just clear some BS. So if you can stand up, you could do it lying down, sitting, whatever, but just start to shake out your hands and just think of everything that doesn't worked for you, that you've tried, that maybe you feel frustrated about, or things you see that just kind of get your blood boiling because you're that's the wrong thing for women like you. And there's tons of us that it doesn't work for. So just get it out there, let your arms shake, kind of move your spine if you're sitting or lying down, just kind of move gentle. Head, shake your feet, shake your legs, just kind of let everything shake out of your system. And just do a few inhales and exhales and just be like, I'm not going to let this affect my view of myself or my journey for my own health. These things might be true for others. They're not true for me, and I don't have to take them on anymore. So just send them all away by the shaking, doing a big dramatic exhale several times, and then say it with me. I release all the shoulds. I release all the shoulds. I let go of wellness shame. I let go of wellness shame, and just feel good about that. Feel like, okay, this is my new reality. I've let go of all the BS. I've reset my vibe. I know that my wellness looks different, and I stand in pride with that. So thank you for listening. For those of you that listened to the end, thank you and did the little shake off with me. So we have come to a close. So if you have felt left out of wellness culture, I want you to know it's not because you failed, and it's really because of nothing you've done, but it's because it was never built for you in the first place. And you don't need to be part of a performative healing club to be worthy of deep, lasting wellness, right? So you need to find the things that pick and choose that work for you and build your own toolbox. You don't need to buy more. You don't need to be more. You don't need to fix more. You just need to listen to what you need and what your body's been wanting you to do the whole time, mostly rest. Figure out a way to get your inflammation down. Figure out a way to go into that rest and digest. There's hundreds of tools now along those lines. So if this episode has made you feel more seen, gave you a reason to ditch the salary cleanse, go ahead and share it with someone that you know would also benefit from it. And don't forget, you can find some more tools, or if you have any questions for me, please email me at donna@donnapiper.com, or you can find information and resources at my website, donnapiper.com. Until next time, be soft, smart, and ditch the wellness BS that never worked for your brilliant body anyway. If this episode made you feel even more seen, brought you clarity, or reminded you that you're not alone, please take a moment to rate, review, and send it to someone who needs that same reminder. You can find more tools, blog posts, and support over at donnapiper.com. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got a question for me? Every month I do a listener coaching episode, and I'd love to hear from you. Send your questions, stories, or flare-up confessions to donna@donnapiper.com. And you just might hear your answer on the show. Until next time, dear body, I'm listening, and I am so glad that you are here.
This podcast is sponsored by Goldbelly, shipping America's most iconic foods nationwide. Make this Thanksgiving one to remember with the original turducken, the viral pie cakin with decadent layers of cake and pie, and more. Plus, Black Friday is the perfect time to pre-order unique gifts they'll rave about for years. Use promo code GIFT for 20% off your first order on goldbelly.com. Goldbelly, America's best foods delivered